It's been a while since I posted. COVID has given me time to finish up inking the entire book, so I'll be posting every month, at least a chapter at a time. For those of you that are old fans, bear with me while I work through chapter 1 till we get to book 1, so that we can get to book 2. Basically, for those of you new to the channel, I just kind of updated with some gray tone, new pages actually as well, to some of the chapters as well. But yeah, so chapter 1, yeah, I posted a few months ago, probably a year ago. So let's just kind of go from chapter 1 to chapter 2, and then chapter 3 will be posted up shortly this week, and I'll make a video about that. But basically, the way it's going to go, every month I'll post a new video relating to the comic book, and then throughout the time I'll post some other random stuff. But yeah, so basically, Mrdeadink, you know, the first chapter kind of is your prologue. I introduced the character Mrdeadink, who starts off basically talking to some guy, and the guy's kind of just giving you information about him, and questioning why he's hunting monsters. And Mrdeadink kind of gives his reason, which is to save humanity. I think in the beginning too, there's a little bit of a prologue of what happened to the world that, you know, created the world that you guys are going to be reading about. So, you know, then we get to chapter 1, and it's about this little girl and this little guy. By the way, I recommend going to my Mrdeadink Facebook page, reading it before you watch this video, because I'm going to be spoiling it. So this is your forewarning, spoilers. I like to talk about the chapter. Again, I'll be talking about 2 chapters, but I like talking about the chapter and what's going on, so spoilers. Anyways, so these 2 people are basically, it's a brother and sister. They're trying to get to the north. And you'll further learn this, but basically the north is the safest part of the world. The rest of the world is, you know, damaged. So they can see the wall, they can see the north, and they are pretty close. They're pretty excited that they're almost there. And, you know, they're talking, and they make a comment basically about a secret passage into the north. And then, you know, Mrdeadink, he brings up that he believes that that passage has been closed away, and he's hiding in the corner. They didn't even realize he was inside the train with them. So, you know, they freak out, you know, get a little antsy, and then he kind of tells them, hey, calm down, we got visitors. And sure enough, one of my first, probably the first monsters that I introduced, which are the blood fairies, and they start attacking. So a lot of fun action sequences here. Then you kind of get introduced to Templars. They are of the church. You'll learn more about them, but basically you're just kind of scoping what's going on. Some of my favorite pages right here. The action sequence. So it's just a bunch of fighting. Then Mrdeadink tells them I can't protect you anymore, so you need to take your gun, shoot your sister, and then shoot yourself, because the fairies, they not only kill you, they take your soul, they eat your soul, so they completely wipe your existence. So he freaks out. He points his gun at his sister, and he's like, I can't do this, and then shoots himself. And then there's an explosion. Templars come out. You know, basically, you find out that Templars set this trap with the fairies to prove if Mrdeadink was Mrdeadink, because right now he's fairly new to the church. He's a man of myth, so they know of his existence, but they needed to prove, you know, that he exists and who he is. So they, you know, in the process, killed 2 innocents. Mrdeadink wasn't too happy about that, but he kind of lets it go because it beats his purpose of saving mankind. And then we get to chapter 2, which kind of goes through a throwback at chapter 1, and basically it's Dracula looking for the man who killed his son, which was his son in the very prologue. So he's hunting Mrdeadink down, basically, and you'll see a lot more of him throughout the books to come. And we go to the next protagonist, which is Sir Shadow. Again, you'll see a lot of him. Basically, he's just collecting materials to make new weapons. Let's see. There we go. Get some. This whole chapter is basically him fighting. I like this page right here. Yeah, some. He's more fast-paced, quick, cocky, versus Mrdeadink is kind of cool, sleek. He's still quick too, but the way that Sir Shadow fights, it's different. There's more spunk to it. So basically, he blows. I got to. I was reading it myself, huh? So basically, he then, after fighting for a cool minute, he's like, you know what? Let me use my power, and then he becomes Shadow of the Playground, or a form of it. You'll learn more about that. He blows up the whole forest on accident, and he's like, whoops. Then you have somebody stalking him right here. He thought he killed him, but then, he starts crawling out of the ground. And then he notices something right here behind him. He's like, what's that? And it cuts it's a troll. He cuts his head clean off. And boom, it's one of the fallen angels. So you'll hear that term a lot here. Fallen angels, basically, there was a great war, and you'll read this in the prologue. There was a great war. During that great war, actually, I'll let you read that for yourself. But fallen angels, some of the bad guys you'll notice in this comic book. Take a look, take a gander, enjoy.